Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you've just seen my reflection on the Manchester United versus West Ham game, of course, all that matters is basically, is the 3 points for Manchester United, and that's what we desperately, needed today, obviously, to keep our top four ambitions alive. So as it does stand now, we are only 2 points behind top four, of course, because it is essential that we do get a Champions League football for next season. But as I did give my reflection on the game today, obviously, the performance was way below par, for Manchester United today, but obviously the result was more essential than the current performance, of course, as well. So potentially we still remain in the race for the top four, of course, as well. But rightly so, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, rested, quite a few players, obviously, for the game on Tuesday night, of course, against Barcelona in the second leg. Obviously, Solskjaer, I think, had made about 5 changes today in the game as well. Obviously, we do know that, Diego Dalot was at right back, and he should be now playing there more often, to be quite honest with you, and Ashley Young to be dropped, for the future. I want Ashley Young out of the club, and obviously, we saw Marcus Rojo at left back, of course, as well, and that left back position is going to be a concern for Manchester United, going into the game against Barcelona on Tuesday night, because I don't think potentially, Marcus Rojo is good enough, to be quite honest with you. For what he's done for the club, that's really, really good, but, obviously, I think his Manchester United career has been affected, the amount of injuries he's currently suffered, so I think that's taken its toll on Marcus Rojo, to be quite honest with you. But we do know Young was suspended today. Obviously, we know Luke Shaw was suspended as well, and obviously Luke Shaw suspended for the Barcelona game on Tuesday, and he's also suspended for the Everton game on the 21st of April as well. So Luke Shaw, we are going to miss Luke Shaw indeed. So Solskjaer made about 5 changes today. Obviously, when we Fred and Paul Pogba in that midfield. Obviously, rested Scott McTominay, of course, for the game on Tuesday night as well. Obviously, we know Lindelof, didn't play today either. Obviously, he's rested as well. So we saw Phil Jones alongside Chris Smalling in that back line. So he did make some alterations, the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but there were still quite a few, first team, players, playing today. But, the performance was way below par, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, as we all know, it was Paul Pogba, 2 penalties, from Paul Pogba, that got Manchester United the 3 points, to be quite honest with you, of course, as well. And potentially, it was 2 penalties, obviously there was some talking points in the game as well. Obviously, there was talking points about, was that first penalty, a debate, reportedly that was a huge debate, reportedly, the first penalty, should I say. And obviously, West Ham had got a disallowed goal as well, as we all currently know, and that was from Felipe Anderson. Obviously, we're talking saying that was onside. Obviously, reportedly Diego Dalot had played Felipe Anderson onside, and but it was disallowed by the referee. So potentially Manchester United obviously got the first penalty just before the 20th minute mark. Of course, obviously there was a huge debate about that as well. Of course, Juan Mata went down just at the edge of the box, I think, from Robert Snodgrass, and the penalty had been given, and obviously Paul Pogba had tucked it away. That was 1-0, of course. But in the first half, I thought it was really open, was the game, to be quite honest with you. It wasn't the best of games, to the highest quality, but it was really open, because I thought both teams, were finding it very easy to get in that attacking further the pitch, and I thought, both teams really lacked that cutting edge, especially in the first half. So there really wasn't any great chances in the first half in the game, to be quite honest with you. But West Ham did have a good attacking ambition. I thought both teams looked expansive on the ball as well. But potentially, I just think Manchester United, were far too open. You can potentially, see the deficiencies in the squad. In that midfield were far too open. In that defensive line were far too open. And at times in that game, West Ham, were causing problems for Manchester United. But I think we needed to be more compact, in defence and midfield, to be quite honest with as well. And Manchester United were winning 1-0 at half time. So essentially the second half came. Obviously, West Ham equalised, just 4 minutes into the second half, through Felipe Anderson, of course. Obviously, that was a bad error from De Gea. Of course, well, that led to the build-up of that goal. Obviously, it was a cross from Lanzini, and Felipe Anderson was there at near post, and that was a 1-1, of course. And then, obviously, we saw some substitutions come on in the game as well. Obviously, Lanzini went off injured for West Ham. And then, potentially, we did also, see, basically, as well, Mikel Antonio, come on for West Ham, and he looked very impressive, when he came on as well. And West Ham had 2 big chances, through Mikel Antonio in the second half. He hit the crossbar. He obviously, forced De Gea to make a world-class save as well. And we saw Manchester United, bring some substitutions on as well. We saw Marcus Rashford come on for Juan Mata in the game as well, because Juan Mata started today, but Rashford came on for Mata. We did see Mason Greenwood come on for Lukaku in the game, and we also saw Pereira come on for Marcus Rojo, of course, as well. And then I think it forced Diego Dalot to go to left back, of course, as well. So I think Rashford, looked impressive, when he came on, to be quite honest with you. I think he had like 2 chances for Manchester United, but it was just very, very tepid for Manchester United. We were very, very sloppy in possession, to be quite honest with you. So it was a very, very below par performance, for Manchester United today. But obviously the result, as I did say, is obviously more essential, than the current performance itself. But obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, rested quite a few key players, for the game on Tuesday night. But obviously, we got the penalty again, with 10 minutes to go, of course, as well. Obviously, Martial went down, I think, from a challenge from Frederick, but obviously that was a blatant penalty because Martial was on goal. And then obviously, Paul Pogba had tucked it away. So essentially he got the man of the match, of course, with his 2 penalties. He scored Paul Pogba, and that is now his 16th goal of the season for Manchester United, of course, as well. So it wasn't the best of performances, but all that matters is the 3 points, of course, for Manchester United as well. And we do know it's going to be a big game on Tuesday against Barcelona. So I can confirm that probably McTominay will be playing, of course, because he's growing and developing fantastically well in recent weeks for Manchester United, and he's really stepped up to the plate as McTominay. Maybe Fred probably will play on Tuesday as well. Maybe Fred will play on Tuesday as well. I should presume Lindelof will play on Tuesday as well. Probably maybe Ashley Young, maybe. I don't know. He may play Diego Dalot at right back on Tuesday. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. So he will rotate on Tuesday against Barcelona, of course, as well. So potentially, as we all do know, guys, you can potentially, see the deficiencies in the squad. And obviously, we've got to address this problem in the summer. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to get around over £200 million to spend this summer, as we all know as well. So essentially, we've got a board, that can invest, who Solskjaer wants to bring in the summer. Obviously, always getting the right recruitment doesn't always guarantee you success, of course, as well. But you potentially can see the deficiencies in the squad, and potentially, we need a full back. We definitely need a right back. We need a potential right winger, of course. Well, I think that's what one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priorities is to get a right winner in. Obviously, we need a couple of additions in midfield as well, and we do need a central defender, of course. I think on the left hand side we're okay because that's where the majority of our attack is coming from, but I'm going to have concerns for Tuesday night, in that left back position, because obviously, Luke Shaw, of course, is suspended as well. So that's one area where I am going to have a major concern, to be quite honest, because obviously Luke Shaw's been a regular in the team for Manchester United as a fullback, and he gallops forward very, very well. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He makes them good overlapping runs. So potentially Luke Shaw is going to be missed for Tuesday night against Barcelona as well. But obviously we do know, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the club this summer. Obviously he's expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out as well. But it's good that he's making plans for the summer. He's been in regular contact with Ed Woodward, and people are saying maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, not spend too much money on one player, of course, as well. But we've got to get the right players, obviously, who've got the ability to elevate Manchester United, of course, in the next 2 to 3 years. And, there is quite a few players out there, for a reasonable figure. Obviously now Manchester United are, emphasising, targets, to replace Ander Herrera, of course, because obviously it's looking likely Ander Herrera is on his way out of the club. And obviously Ander Herrera hasn't been playing lately, due to injury, of course, as well. And I've analysed his performances as a Manchester United player, and mainly they've been very, very good. And mainly since Solskjaer's come in, his performances have been very, very good indeed. And reports do say that he wants around 200 grand a week, allegedly, if he's to stay at Man United and if he's to sign a new contract at Manchester United. But reportedly, Man United are not willing to meet his £200,000 a week wage demands, and it's already said. It's already confirmed that obviously he's agreed a deal, obviously, to join PSG on a free at the end of the season. I think it's a 3-year deal with around £150,000 a week. But we know that there's better players out there than Herrera, and he's not a 200 grand a week player. I think if he does go to PSG this summer, which is looking very, very likely indeed, I think he'll be a great addition in Paris, in France, with Paris Saint-Germain as well. He'll bring a lot of tenacity to their play. He's very tenacious as well. He's Ander Herrera. He breaks up the play very, very well. But you can say it's money thrown away, obviously, because we paid £30 million in from Atletico Bilbao, back in 2014. This is now his 5th season at United, so he's been a good servant here. I think he's made about 187 appearances for the club as well. But we need a couple of additions in that midfield, and we need to build around Paul Pogba as well, especially if Paul Pogba does depart Manchester United this summer. So at the moment, Paul Pogba's future is up in the air, as we all know, and I think we need a centre defensive midfielder, that's fast and tenacious, to be quite honest with you. And I know, obviously Matic, I've got reservations about Nemanja Matic, to be quite honest with you. I've got strong reservations about him. His age, up his too slow. You know, obviously he hasn't been featuring lately because obviously he's got some kind of illness, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said. But we do know that, you know, Fred, you know, proved himself very, very well against Barcelona, you know, on Wednesday night. And I think Fred is probably more mobile and better on the ball, you know, than Nemanja Matic, you know, to be quite honest with you. But can Fred do that week in, week out, you know, when he does get given them opportunities? And that is the question. Indeed, I did say I don't know if Fred is a long-term solution for Manchester United, and I will stick to what I said, but I will praise the performance he put in against Barcelona the other night, because that was fantastic. And McTominay as well, I do really, really like McTominay, and he's going and developing, you know, fantastically well as McTominay in these last couple of weeks. His performances have really stepped up. Obviously, as I did say, you know, he didn't play today. Obviously, he's getting rested. He got rested, you know, for the game on Tuesday night against Barcelona, of course. So we need a centre defensive midfielder, you know, of course, that's fast and tenacious as well. But it's good that we're emphasising our targets, you know, who could replace Ander Herrera. Ander Herrera is 29 now, of course, and Idrissa Gueye, there were talks about him the other day in the press as well, and Gueye could be available, you know, for a reasonable figure this summer. And you could say Herrera's had the better career than Idrissa Gueye without a shadow of a doubt, of course. But Idrissa Gueye's been at Everton a number of years now. He's well Premier League proven, of course. I think he completed the most tackles in the Premier League season in 2016-17 as well, you know, did Idrissa Gueye. I think this is his third season now at Everton, of course. I think he's going into his fourth season as an Everton player. He's got a contract with Everton until 2022, which he got renewed back in February of last year as well. I think it's probably based on his fantastic performances, and I think he's made about 128, 129 appearances in the Premier League as Idrissa Gueye. Obviously, this is including his season he had with Aston Villa, because I think he spent like 1 year with Aston Villa, did Idrissa Gueye, and he's a defensive midfielder, and he's 29. Of course, we do know he's a Senegal international as well, but reportedly he could be available for around £30 million this summer. Could Idrissa Gueye as well, but PSG inquired about getting him in January, but obviously, you know, PSG I think had about 1 or 2 bids, you know, turned down for Idrissa Gueye as well. So could he reportedly, you know, be a good ideal replacement for Ander Herrera at Manchester United, of course, as well. And we do know, obviously, you know, Declan Rice as well, and I like Declan Rice. You know, I watched him today. I thought he had some good moments in the game. You know, Declan Rice, and he did say reportedly Manchester United are ready to spend about up to £50 million on Declan Rice. I think he's growing, developing, and flourishing fantastically well under Manuel Pellegrini, and I think Declan Rice's performances have been very, very good indeed, and I think he's rated at around £50 million. That's what West Ham, you know, would want for Declan Rice. I think he plays as a centre-back, but he's mainly a defensive midfielder, and I think now this is, he's been at West Ham a number of years now, but he's been, as I said, he's been in the senior squad, you know, quite a few years as Declan Rice. He's got a contract with West Ham till 2024, which he signed a new deal with West Ham, you know, back in December, of course, as well. But initially, he used to be a Chelsea player, you know, when he was younger, of course. You know, he graduated from their youth system, of course. He joined at the age of 7, was there a number of years, then got axed off at the age of 14 as well. And potentially now he's a West Ham player, and potentially he's only 20 years of age. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well. So potentially we've showed an interest in Declan Rice, of course, as well. And we do know there's also, you know, been, what's the other player, you know, we've been in talks of getting Saul Niguez as well, and there's also been talks about Saul Niguez. Do you think he could be a good replacement for Ander Herrera? Because Saul Niguez can play as a defensive mid, he can play centrally, he can also play on the right as well, you know, can Saul Niguez. And I think United, City and Barcelona have expressed an interest in Saul Niguez. He's 24, he's Spanish, of course, obviously he spent the majority of his career with Atletico Madrid, of course, obviously, you know, he graduated from their youth system. I think he's going to make over 200 appearances for Atletico Madrid. Saul Niguez, I think, is unhappy now in Spain, and I think he may want to make the move to the Premier League. But he has got a release clause of around 128 million in his deal with Atletico Madrid, of course, as well. So his name has also been mentioned as well. So do you think he'd be a good replacement for Ander Herrera as well? There's also been a lot of talks, you know, going on about Bruno Fernandes as well, and I think Bruno Fernandes is an attacking midfielder. And there has been a lot of talks going on about Bruno Fernandes, and I think Manchester United have showed an interest in Bruno Fernandes. He's 24 years of age, as we all know. He's Portuguese, he's Bruno Fernandes, and reportedly he's been really, really good at Sporting Lisbon. I think he's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of years now as Bruno Fernandes. I think he's got a release clause of around £90 million in his deal with Sporting Lisbon as well. But I think reports came out from Portugal saying that Manchester United have had negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' representatives as well. So his name has also been mentioned as well. his name has also been mentioned as well. You know, there was a lot of talks going on about Joe Felix as well, and I've heard a lot about Joe Felix going on. There was a narrative going about it back in January, you know, that a few teams have expressed their interest in him. It's also said that Manchester United have been interested in Joe Felix as well. Only 19 years of age is Joe Felix, of course. You know, he plays for Benfica. He only broke into the Benfica first team last year, did Joe Felix. Obviously, he's yet to make his senior debut for Portugal. Only 19 years of age. I think he's got a buyout clause of around £100 million as Joe Felix as well. And I think he can play in other positions. He's versatile, but I think he's mainly a winger. Is Joe Felix as well. So his name has reportedly been mentioned in the media. But I think he can actually play as an attacking midfielder as well. You know, can Joe Felix. So there's quite a few targets, you know, that Manchester United are interested in. As I did say, obviously the club's number one priority target is obviously, you know, Jadon Sancho. But I think he's going to cost us around £100 million this summer. Is Jadon Sancho as well. He's going to cost us around £100 million, of course, and that's if he is for sale. Obviously, he's just turned 19. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well. I think he got into England's senior squad only last year as well, but he's proven himself fantastically well, you know, with Borussia Dortmund in his 2 years with Dortmund so far, and I think he'd be he's a good outlet, and I think Jadon Sancho is the right solution, you know, to Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. We do know he's going to cost us around £100 million, but he would link up well with the likes of Rashford and Martial, of course, as well, you know, with Jadon Sancho. He's still got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022, of course. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund paid about £7 million for him a couple of years ago for Manchester City, of course, as well. And I think he's attracted interest, you know, from quite a few teams across Europe, you know, based on his fantastic performances he's done with Borussia Dortmund. But Manchester United are heavily linked with him, and I think he's still, as I did say, I think he's the club's number one priority target. Obviously, we need someone on that right-hand side, you know, someone that can play between the bylines, put crosses into the box, and I think Jadon Sancho is capable of that. So he has got immense talent as Sancho as well. But as I did say, you know, we do know that there's players out there, you know, for a reasonable figure, of course, as I've already given you an update on. And Anwar Wan-Bissaka, recent reports have said Man United have dropped their interest now in Anwar Wan-Bissaka, but reports are coming out the other week saying that reportedly, you know, Man United were prepared to bid around £35 million for him. I think he's rated at around £40 million as Anwar Wan-Bissaka. He's only young, of course. He's only, 21 years of age. I think Anwar Wan-Bissaka, again, British, one of England's youngest upcoming talents, but we definitely need a right-back, of course. I think Diego Dalot now, you know, should be playing more as a right-back. I think he should be first choice ahead of Ashley Young in that full-back position, you know, to be quite honest with you. But I still possibly think that we do need a right-back, to be quite honest with you. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on bringing a right-back in this summer, because obviously Valencia is obviously going in the summer, as we all know, because obviously we opted against that decision to give him that a new one-year extension. I also want Ashley Young to go in the summer. Whether he goes or not, I do not know. But I think that the likes of Anwar Wan-Bissaka has got the ability to elevate Man United in the next 2 to 3 years, and I think, you know, he'd be a perfect successor, you know, to the likes of Valencia and all that as well. So potentially Manchester United have been linked to him. Recent reports have said we have dropped our interest in Anwar Wan-Bissaka, of course, as well. So we are linked with quite a few players, as we all know. But I think, as I did say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the club this summer, and obviously he wants to build a squad, you know, worthy of the club's history as well. You know, there's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but as I did say, you know, I think we're ready to at least sanction 6 players off this summer. Obviously, you know, there's been a lot of talks going on about Paul Pogba. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, does basically insist Paul Pogba is not thinking about making a move to Real Madrid. He's focusing on Manchester United, of course, and obviously reports have been coming out saying that Real Madrid are preparing a bid of around 125 or 130 million pounds this summer. But recent reports have actually mentioned that reportedly it's mentioned Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Paul Pogba's relationship, and it's reportedly said it's slowly fading after they have built a great relationship up together. You know, overall, you know, Pogba and Solskjaer. But recent reports have said that their relationship is slowly fading away. But we do basically know that there's been a lot of speculation of possibly Paul Pogba making the move to Madrid this summer. In my own preference, I don't think Paul Pogba will leave this summer. I think somewhere along the line, Manchester United will convince him to stay. I think we are willing to meet that £1,000 a week he's demanding if he is to sign a new contract with Manchester United, Paul Pogba, because he's still got over 2 years left on his deal as Pogba, as we all know. Obviously, there's an option of third year as well. So all in all, he's still under contract with Manchester United until 2022. But there has been a lot of talks about him going to Madrid. Solskjaer has had talks with Paul Pogba, of course, and Solskjaer insists that Pogba is not leaving Manchester United, of course, and Solskjaer probably still feels as though Paul Pogba's got a big future at the club. Obviously, a couple of weeks back, Obviously, a couple of weeks back, obviously, Paul Pogba, was speaking a lot about Real Madrid, as we all know, describing them as a big club and all that, saying Madrid's a dream for anyone. So that just indicates that he's not intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England, and he's keen on making a move to Real Madrid, of course, as well. But I think Solskjaer's priority is to keep De Gea and keep Paul Pogba at the club, and they are two key players, as we all know as well. And to be quite honest, Paul Pogba has been one of our most influential players, of course, as well. Obviously, his agent Raiola, obviously, he's had a couple of negotiations with Madrid, of course. He's also he's been to Manchester to all negotiations over the summer move for Paul Pogba, of course, as well. But he has been one of our most influential players. So if any offers do come for Paul Pogba this summer, Manchester United, of course, are going to turn them down as well. He's heading into his 4th season now as a United player, of course. He's Paul Pogba. Obviously, we paid £89 million for him back in 2016, of course. And obviously, as we do know, obviously, I think there was talks about him possibly going to Barcelona last year as well, because I think Barcelona were linked to him last year. I also think Real Madrid were linked with him back in 2016 as well. So obviously Zinedine Zidane is an admirer of Paul Pogba as well, but potentially he wants 500 grand a week. He wants to be the highest paid player alongside Sanchez at the club, so he wants £200,000 pay rise, because obviously at the moment his current deal is on 300 grand a week, is Paul Pogba. So as I did say, what Sanchez is receiving, it's totally taking its toll, and it's affecting our wage structure in a bad way, because now we've got quite a few players demanding more money. And De Gea, hopefully we can keep De Gea. I want us to keep De Gea because potentially he's the best goalkeeper in the world. Pinpointing that game out today, he made a great save, for Mikel Antonio, denying Mikel Antonio. And just previously before that, Mikel Antonio had hit the crossbar as well. And he's a good player for West Ham, Mikel Antonio. I do rate him. But De Gea reportedly, he's demanding around £350,000 a week. This is what he wants. So he wants to be one of the best paid players at the club as well. Man United are not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands. Man United have been in talks of getting him a new contract, of course. And De Gea, I think he's happy at Manchester United. I think he wants to, commit his long-term future at the club, but I just think he's refusing to sign a new contract at the moment, because obviously Man United are not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands. This is now his 8th season at Manchester United, of course, as well as David De Gea's. It's his 8th season now at the club. I think he's made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions as David De Gea. And obviously he's got 100 Premier League clean sheets now to his name, of course, as David De Gea, and he's won everything here domestically as well. So it is essential we can try and keep him and convince him to sign a new contract. Real Madrid, as we all know, have been long admirers of him. Obviously recent reports came out the other week saying that PSG are reportedly interested in him as well, and reportedly it did say Paris Saint-Germain are willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands as well. He's still under contract with the club until 2020, of course, as well as David De Gea. So potentially, obviously Solskjaer's got to make a decision as well for next season. Obviously about the captain's armband, who's going to get that captain's armband next season, and that's obviously a huge decision. That Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is currently going to make, of course. Because obviously we know that, as I did say, Valencia's on his way out of the club in the summer as well. I also want Rojo to leave this summer. Whether he does or not, I do not know. But his career's been affected, the amount of injuries he's suffered as a Manchester United player. So I think he should be on his way out this summer as well, from my preference. I think Darmian's probably on his way out in the summer as well. Matteo Darmian, definitely. People are talking about Lukaku. Should he be possibly moved on in the summer as well? Romelu Lukaku. To be quite honest with you, he's got a good pedigree in the Premier League. His goal scoring form is very, very good. Very good. But I've got reservations about Lukaku. His finishing lets him down. He's not quick enough. He's too slow, and he doesn't get enough them runs in behind. To be quite honest with you. And we paid £75 million to him, so maybe we should, move Lukaku on this summer as well. Juan Mata, to be quite honest with you, should we move him on in the summer? There has been talks. Well, the last time I heard about the Juan Mata news, obviously, Barcelona were in talks of getting him on a free transfer, and I'm pretty sure that Man United have been in negotiation trying to get Juan Mata a new contract, of course. And I really highly rate Juan Mata. And to be quite honest with you, I do want him to stay at least, for a couple of more years at least, because I really like him. He's been a good servant to the club, of course. This is his 5th season now as a United player. He's made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions for Manchester United as Juan Mata as well. And I do really like him, to be quite honest with you. And he is 30 now. He is aging up a bit is Juan Mata, to be quite honest with you, and he's got a great pedigree in the Premier League. You know, he spent about 8 seasons in the Premier League. Obviously, this was including his 2.5, 3 years he had with Chelsea as well. So, to be quite fair, I do hope Manchester United, you know, can convince him, you know, to at least sign a new 1-year extension or whatever. It probably won't be a long-term extension, considering that he's age 30 now, Juan Mata, of course, as well. And I think Sanchez definitely on his way out of the club in the summer. I thought he might have been involved today, you know, Alexis Sanchez, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. But obviously, we do know Sanchez wasn't involved today. He must have been not fit enough. Solskjaer did say he's now injury-free, so he has no longer got that knee injury that he currently had. But obviously, you know, he must have not been 100%, you know, to participate today as well. But I think he's another player that's probably on his way out in the summer. Considering his substantial wages, you know, Sanchez is on, obviously it's going to be difficult to find a buy for him this summer. I don't think there's going to be many teams out there that are going to be able to afford to pay his wages. So Sanchez may be willing, unless we can come to an agreement, you know, if Sanchez take a wage cut, or Man United may figure something out, maybe loan him out or something like that. I do not know as well. But the most essential thing is, as I said, you know, we've got to get a director of football to come in, of course, you know, to change the club structure and all that. You know, the director of football, you know, is very, very essential indeed. Solskjaer's going to need back in this summer. You know, Paul Mitchell's probably the likely candidate, you know, of course, as well, because there's been a lot of talks about Paul Mitchell going on. It says United, Arsenal and Chelsea are all chasing, you know, Paul Mitchell, of course. And Paul Mitchell, you know, is born and bred in Manchester, of course, and I can't remember how old he is, but obviously he's the head of recruitment at RP Leipzig at the moment. I think he's been at RP Leipzig a couple of years now, hasn't he? Something like that. Of course, as well, but he used to be head of recruitment at Tottenham and Southampton, where obviously, you know, he used to work alongside Mauricio Pochettino, of course, as well, you know, Paul Mitchell. I think RP Leipzig is still keen on trying to get him a new contract at RP Leipzig until 2025, as reports were mentioning as well. So the most essential thing is, you know, we've got to get a director of football to come in. As I did currently say, though, I still think, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's the right man for United, of course. You know, he knows the club inside out, and overall we've done really, really well under Solskjaer. It wasn't the best of performances today, as we all know, but obviously I think, you know, we had as mindset on the game on Tuesday night, you know, against Barcelona, you know, when we do go to a Nou Camp. And you know, I think the preview will be coming up for that either tomorrow or on Monday. It's Tuesday night, as I said, but you know, when we do play Barcelona on Tuesday, obviously it's going to bring back a lot of memories for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, because obviously one of his most iconic moments, you know, obviously back in 1999, which was 20 years ago, obviously when Solskjaer was a player, obviously, you know, he scored the winning goal at the Nou Camp against Bayern Munich, and of course won Manchester United the treble as well. So it's going to bring back a lot of memories, you know, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, going to the Nou Camp, of course, as well. So yeah, so as I did say, guys, it wasn't the best of performances today for Manchester United, and obviously we haven't lost to West Ham at Old Trafford, you know, since I don't think we've lost to them at Old Trafford since 2007. So that's like 12 years ago or something like that. I think it was a Carlos Tevez goal that beat us that season in 2007. I think that day it was the last game of the season. United had won the title, of course. We'd already won the league, I think. Tevez had scored the goal for West Ham. I think that was actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last appearance as a player for Manchester United as well. But we'd lost the game 1-0, and that was West Ham's last victory at Old Trafford, of course, as well. So yeah, the most essential thing is, as I said, you know, Manchester United got the 3 points. You know, that's the most important thing indeed. You know, the performance wasn't good. It was way below par. You know, we lost possession far too easily. And it was just very, very tepid, and it was very, very poor for Manchester United, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. And there was still quite a few first-team players out there. We still know that we have got a few injuries as well, but it wasn't a good performance in Manchester United at all. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing to my channel as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.